All right, in this video, we're going to see how Aembit helped a $300 billion investment firm deploy Claude across its analysts and executive workforce that their security teams were blocking from day one. So first, let's kind of talk about what the issues were. So the security team wouldn't allow direct MCP connections. They also didn't want to allocate shared credentials. They figured it wouldn't be controllable or auditable if they went down that path. They want to also centralize policy and audit trails, and this was having some issues with scaling. They tried client IDs and client secrets, and again, when they got to around 100 of those, they decided that that solution was just not going to scale. They wanted to make sure that the credentials were scoped so that they can give more granular access. And then they also wanted identity attribution across both the agent and the user. Now let's take a look at what Aembit did to help them get from a completely blocked rollout to having several hundred users just in their pilot. Right, the first thing we did was we moved them into our architecture that uses the MCP Authorization Service to get human IDP information as well as agent information. And then we also deployed the MCP Identity Gateway. And that ultimately meant that they can have secretless access for not only the MCP gateway, but all backend MCP services. The secretless functionality replaced static credentials with ephemeral single-use tokens that were scoped for the user or group or however they wanted to break that down. Next, we got blended identity, which unified the treatment of human and agent identities into the same access and audit environment. We also did token exchange, which meant any token that was generated on the human IDP side was exchanged for one that had blended information. So we can use that to not only go to the MCP Identity Server, but then give granular tool-based and server-based access to all backend environments. We did policy enforcement. This allowed for real-time allow or deny decisions at the traffic boundary before any tool is invoked or any data is accessed. Next, we had the centralized management, a single control plane governing all agent to service access policies across their environment. We can see authentications to the human IDP side. We can see the tools and clients that are making the calls as well as where they're going. And then ultimately, this gave us audit with attribution. We can see complete human agent attributed logs for full visibility into this entire end-to-end operation. Now to see it in action, let's check out a demo. Okay, here we're in the settings for cloud.ai, and I have a connector configured. Now this is one single connector for all my MCP services. So I'm going to go ahead and say connect. And when I say connect, this redirects me to the Aembit MCP Authorization Server. And this wants me to sign in using Okta. When I sign in with Okta, it's going to present the user context, user information to Aembit. So let's go ahead and sign into Okta. Okay, so the Azure MCP server is already authorized and ready to go. So there's nothing else I need to do. And it shows that I have access to another GitHub MCP server, but I'm not going to use that right now. So now let's return to the AI agent. Okay, great. So it's connected. And if I go here, you can see that I have access to my Azure tools. And I'm going to use one of these chat message tools to request information from the MCP server. So let's go do a new chat and say, please summarize my last chat with Colin V. in Teams. So now it's going to go look at all the tools, and it wants to use the Azure MCP Server chat message tool. I'm going to say allow once. You can say allow, but for demo purposes, I just say allow once. And now it's giving me a summary of the last message, which was last week. It was about a Shiny Hunter's rapid response. So you can see it went and it pulled in messages that I have access to from my Teams account, and it summarizes it. So everything's working correctly. If you'd like to see how this is configured, please go check out our IAM for Agentic AI video, where I show the configuration steps as well. Thank you.